All right, so we're back working on the 4runner. Today, this will probably be a series of videos, but today I'm gonna start building the roof rack. So I'm gonna do a full length roof rack going from the very back all the way to the front of the windshield. I don't know what style roof rack this is, so I'll just throw a picture up of what I want it to look like. And then I'm gonna show you right now kind of what I'm working with and some of the other stuff that I'm gonna do today. Okay, so we're up here on the roof. I would like to utilize these stock channels for the mounting. So what I'm thinking is it's got these little sliders in it. So I could take those out, get a piece of sheet metal that will slide into this track, and then I can just build my brackets that come up and out and attach to the roof rack on the side right here. So it's gonna go from the back corner all the way to the front windshield, kind of wrap down over the roof. And then I will have 5 or so crossbars going from the back all the way to the front. And that's gonna allow me to mount my tent kind of towards the back end up here, as well as put some side lights, some rear lights, and maybe a front light bar or something. So I'm gonna show you the material I got, and then we will start working on it. All right, so we're here in the garage. These are the materials I'm using. So I'm gonna be using this 1/8 inch thick by 6 by 20 feet, 1 inch angle, and some 1 inch by 120 wall. So it's about 1/8 inch thick wall on there. How I'm thinking about bolting the crossbars to the siding is gonna be with this guy. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but I'm gonna try it because it would come out really clean. So basically, I had to order a box of these. They're just square 7/16 nuts. I got them on Amazon for like 10 bucks. I think I got 12 of them. And then I got some Hex Head 7/16 bolts with washers. And what I'm thinking with this is gonna go, sorry, let me get a little closer. The nut will slide into the tubing like that, and then I will weld it around the edges, and then this can back out, just so I can show you. So it'll look something like that, welded in, and then when I cut the side pieces out, I'll drill holes. These will go through there into the crossbar and kind of squeeze it all together. And then to cut the siding out, I'm just gonna use my angle grinder with some cutting discs. I got like 3 or 4 of these, and then I also got a flap disc so that I can smooth it all out, along with some Sharpies so I can, you know, mark my lines and stuff. So this roof rack project is probably gonna, I'm not gonna be able to do it all in one day, so this might be a couple different videos, but I am gonna get started on it today. So I made the template out of cardboard. It was kind of challenging to make. It just took a long time. It helps if you have 2 people, but so there's a slight curve along the bottom side. This top side is completely flat, and the piece of cardboard I had was not long enough, so I had to tape 2 pieces together. So basically how I did this was I went to Home Depot, or I went to Lowe's, and they gave me they had scrap cardboard that was pretty long, and they just ended up giving it to me. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to show you how I did this. I don't know, it's kind of hard having only one person, but basically, so you have this drip channel right here, and this has a slight curve all the way down the body. So I took a piece of cardboard and I laid it in the channel like that, all the way down. Then I took my Sharpie, and you can see how it has a little bit of a saddle right here. So that saddle lays just like that on the drip, and then I put pressure on the top, and you just run that down the body along the cardboard. And you have to do it a couple times because when the cardboard's flat on the bottom, you're not gonna be able to mark on these edges. So you have to run the Sharpie down, take a box cutter or some scissors, cut what you have, put it back up here in the same spot, run the Sharpie again, cut, and you just keep doing that until it matches the body line. But it's gonna run along like that and then gradually slope off to the top at the windshield. So Not sure on the height here. I have to make sure I have enough room to bolt the tent down, so I might be able to cut the height down a little bit, but I'm not sure yet. So that's kind of how I made the template out of cardboard. If I get enough comments on the comment section of this video, I will do a full video on how to make the template, because it took me probably 2-3 hours just to make the cardboard template. It's kind of tricky. So if there's enough of you guys that want a video on how to make the template, like exactly how I did it, I could try to get Katie here and she can hold the camera while I kind of explain it, and I can show it a little better. So also, I'd like to thank you guys, everybody that's watching the videos. I've had a lot of people reach out and I enjoy talking to you guys, whether it's in the comments or messaging me on Instagram or Facebook. So that's really cool. I enjoy talking to everybody and seeing other people's projects and having people correct my work, because you know, I'm doing all this for the first time, so it's a big learning curve. But thank you all for watching, and I appreciate the feedback and connecting with you guys. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna get working on this roof rack, and then we'll see how far we get today. All right, so as you saw in the time lapse, I taped this on here, lining this top side with top side of the metal, and then scribed it all in there. Worked pretty good. So got it all scribed on there. The line is actually pretty straight. I was kind of worried because the bottom of the cardboard in some spots is kind of rough, but the line came out pretty straight, nice and contoured how I had the template. So we're gonna get to cutting on this and see how it comes out. Okay, so for those of you that are welders, you obviously know what I'm doing right now, but just for the people that aren't or don't have experience, so I'm basically taking the angle grinder with the cutting disc and just scribing the line so that there's a little divot all the way around the mark I just made. So what that's gonna do is when you go to cut all the way through this metal, your blade's not gonna be slipping all over the place. So you're gonna have a nice channel, so all you do is just apply pressure downward, and it's really easy to follow this scribed line. So I'm gonna scribe the whole thing first, relatively deep. I mean, just kind of hard to see, but you know, just, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 all the way down, and then I'll come back and cut all the way through actually. That was a lot of grinding. Got it cut out. Came out pretty clean. So now I'm gonna prop this up and just hit this edge with that flap disc to smooth it all out. And then I'll check the fitment on the roof, and then we'll make adjustments. And once I get this one dialed, I can go ahead and mark and cut the other one. I got it kind of mocked up there. It's obviously it won't stand up on its own, but so I'm weighing my options here. So thinking about maybe trimming a little bit of a steeper angle here. I don't know, it actually matches it kind of rolls up with the body pretty good. And then up here, this actually fits pretty good if you kind of rock it to where it's supposed to go. Right about there, that's pretty close. It's touching in one spot up here, so I could maybe shave some off there, but pretty close. Looks pretty good. All right, so kind of ran into a problem. So I got this first one cut out, right? And I used my cardboard template, the factory edge of the cardboard to the factory edge of the metal. But what happened was, and I guess I should have checked, the factory edge of the metal is not straight. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I did my best on trying to get a dead straight line that's level with the roof. So I'm gonna try to trim this off. It's about an 1/8 inch. And then it kind of tapers off at the edges. So this whole piece of metal is kind of bowed like that. So I'm gonna cut that, and then once I get that cut out, I'm gonna put it on top of the truck and make sure it's level, and then I will take this piece and scribe it onto there and cut that one out. So that's what I'm doing right now. First piece that I had was definitely bent. It wasn't square. The second piece was pretty close, but I'm not sure when I cut it with the cutting wheel if it's like slowly warping, because the second piece I did the same thing, lined up the factory edges with my factory cut on this one, or on the first piece that I cut out. I lined up on the second piece of metal on the factory edge and clamped it all, and then traced it, and everything lined up, and then I cut it out, and then that same factory edge, when I went to line it back up, was crooked. So I think cutting with the cutting wheel, I don't know if it's the heat or just when you cut it, it tends to warp a little bit, but what it ended up doing was clamping both pieces together and grinding it flat so that I have basically two pieces that are exactly the same or very close to the same. So I just ground this top. As you can see, there's a little bit of a lip in some spots, just probably from not cutting perfectly straight. And then there's a little bit of a lip there. So I'm gonna grind all these, get them all to the same, and then we'll go from there. All right, so after clamping them together and grinding everything to make them identical, it came out pretty good. So the first piece right here, second piece right here, came out pretty good. I'm happy with how it came out. It's not perfect, but it will do. So I'm gonna break this video up into a couple different ones, just because it's gonna take me a couple days to build this, and I don't want it to be like 30 minutes of video. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here for today. And the next one, I'll weld the angle iron on there and start cutting out the crossbars and welding in the square nuts so that I could bolt it together. And then I'll probably do another one after that of painting it and then mounting it on the 4runner. And then maybe one more video after that to do the tent. So just so it's all broken up, it's not one long dragged out video. So that's gonna be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.